You know what's really funny? I found this old receipt stuck behind my car's sun visor from like 3 years ago. Never checked there, right? And it was for this massive pizza order I completely forgot about. Just sitting there all this time as Jon and Kate Gosselin raised 8 kids in front of a reality show camera crew, they became famous. Behind the scenes, though, there was more going on than just work charts and fake smiles. This is the first time Jon Gosselin has talked about Kate, their kids, and how fame makes him feel, even though they broke up badly years ago. The fresh information, which includes claims of abuse and being completely split up, is worse than anyone thought it would be. A scary question comes to mind. What really happened at the Gosselin house? The rise of Jon and Kate plus 8. In the early 2000s, before social media made everyone famous, the world was deeply interested in a simple suburban Pennsylvanian couple. There were no shows with Jon and Kate Gosselin. They didn't have any music. They didn't have any strength. What they had, though, was even more interesting: a whole army of kids. Everyone was shocked when Kate told them she had given birth to sextuplets only 4 years after having twins. A rudden one tukel for county and Karstrop are allebak in a grumtiated vlesenkfratstektig, a rise of fought heverwin chop wethef. The Portigo, Ford and Dowdy, would think a maver, that rise of Tredik rise, the fedge of the tro, was almost Riddish off. Right away, the news picked it up. They were on a show on the Discovery Health Channel in 2005 called Surviving Sextuplets and Twins. A lot of people watched the special, which is why there will be a second one. TLC approved Jon and Kate plus 8 that same year. It would become one of their most popular and controversial reality shows. A house with 8 young children looked strange and was a mess, so people were interested right away. A lot of people saw Jon pack the kids' lunches and Kate make sure they all wore the same clothes. They also saw how hard the couple tried to stay together but often failed. People could see into a family that was always on the verge of breaking up but was still together through the show. Behind the cuteness and charm, though, there was something else going on. The family was becoming a business. Deals started coming in for the brand, like events to speak at, book deals, and changes to the house. Some magazines even put Kate on the front cover because they wrote so much about her. To more people, though, their relationship seemed less real and more staged. Jon seemed farther away, and Kate seemed bossier on camera. Still, a lot of people watched Jon and Kate plus 8, and TLC had no plans to stop the money flow. A weak front, the carefully controlled story worked for a while. Kate was the strict and straightforward mom. Jon was the silly and a little stressed out dad. It was fun to root for the kids because they were cute, but it didn't take long for people who were paying close attention to see the cracks. Kate's strict tone was talked about on parenting sites and in parenting groups. Often she was seen telling Jon what to do or putting the blame on him in front of the kids. Online, her fans disagreed on whether she was just a strict mom trying to keep things in order or whether she was more controlling and maybe even mean. Their relationship on screen had changed a lot by 2008. They didn't love each other very often. The talks turned into deals for business. Jon didn't seem interested in shooting and wasn't really into it. Kate, on the other hand, got better at what she did and was ready to do something. Some people thought she might have viewed the show as her own brand and Jon as something extra. After that, the cameras began to record. At the beginning of 2009, Jon was seen having fun with women in college at a bar in Reading, Pennsylvania. Kate and the kids were not with him. There were a lot of claims of cheating. The tabloids made him look like a careless dad who was trying to get back to being young because he was sick of being famous. Kate, on the other hand, was portrayed as the hurt wife who was fighting to keep her family and business safe. Behind the scenes, the marriage was already over because they hadn't lived together in months. That's what the news didn't know back then. Jon later said that by season 4, they were just getting along. It was his claim that TLC knew about the breakup but told them to keep up appearances for viewers and sponsors. There are people in the business who believe that TLC was making too much money to let the fairy tale fall apart in public. The couple is said to have been told by the network to wait to break up until after important shows had aired. They finally told everyone about their breakup in an episode in June 2009. It was a weird time. Kate didn't back away from the cameras. She moved closer. TLC changed the name of the show to Kate plus 8, and Jon was taken out of both the name and the content of the show. It wasn't just a name change. It was a total loss. Jon said that both he and Kate had been let down by the machine they had made together. He said Kate had taken over the story and stopped him from making decisions about the show and finally most of his kids' lives. It wasn't just a breakup. A family fight began, and millions of people saw it on TV across the country. That was a rough split. The news came out on June 27, 2009, during a normal Jon and Kate plus 8 family show. This time, though, it wasn't a birthday party or a trip to buy school supplies. Jon and Kate were both sitting stiffly on the couch, but not next to each other. The pillows were there to keep them apart, but so were months of anger, silence, and legal maneuvering. Kate said, "Just not good for the kids for us to be fighting in front of them," which showed that she was upset. Jon looked away from the camera and said, "Kate and I have decided to split up." People were shocked, but those close to the couple knew that the news had been coming for a long time and that putting it on national TV wasn't a mistake. Several people were aware that the breakup episode was set to air at the same time as one of the most popular shows of the season. It's still not clear if TLC chose it, Kate chose it, or they both planned it, but the effects were felt right away. In just a few days, tabloids set up camp outside of their Wernersville, Pennsylvania home. Child safety groups began to question whether it was moral to show on TV an 8-child family breaking up. Jon and Kate used to be friends until chaos brought them together. Now they hate each other very much. Fights in public over custody when they got divorced in December 2009, it was more than just a legal split. There was a battle over who would have custody. Kate took care of all 8 of the kids while Jon worked, but Jon had to stay with his family most of the time. Jon said that he was kicked out of their lives on purpose and that Kate manipulated the court system with her money and connections from TLC. A lot of people saw him fight back. During 2010 and 2011, Jon went on a media tour. He talked about his problems on talk shows and blogs. He even asked the court to stop the filming of Kate Plus 8 because he believed Kate was using their children for her own gain. Jon said on Larry King Live, "These are kids, not actors. That's not entertainment. That's exploitation, that they're being filmed under stress and in the middle of a personal crisis," she added. Kate wouldn't give up, though. She said the show helped her and her kids make money. People who work for Jon said he was careless and hard to predict. She told him he didn't want a co-parent because he liked being in charge. Kate called the police to say that Jon had taken the kids while he was away on a long trip because things were getting so bad. There were never any charges, but the event showed how bad and hostile their relationship had become. Money, power, and how people see things now. At the heart of their fight was keeping the kids, the story, and the money under control. When Kate brand, she was very careful. It was easy for the media to see her as a working single mom who handles chaos with style after the breakup. She was on Dancing with the Stars in 2010. She has won a lot of awards since then and has been on many talk shows during the day. Jon, on the other hand, looked like he fell. Press photographers caught him in clubs, meeting women much younger than him, and even getting a lot of tattoos. People said he was careless and let his fame get to him. In the end, Jon said that this public fall was fake. As he spoke out, he said that TLC paid for Kate's lawyers and public relations work and then sued him for breach of contract. He said it was a fight between David and Goliath. He was the dad who had been kicked out, told to keep quiet by NDAs, and lost in court. There are people in the business who believe Kate's connection with TLC gave her a huge advantage. She had lawyers, directors, and a media company worth a lot of money on her side. There were cameras, tabloids, and the thought that Jon was weak. After a few years, Jon told everyone that he had lost all of his show earnings after the divorce, while Kate and the kids were still making a lot of money. He even said Kate had used money from the trust accounts for the kids to pay her lawyers. For a while, these claims made people mad, but they were never proven. The kid's in the middle. As Jon and Kate's fight played out in court, in tabloids, and on talk shows, it became clear that the real losers were their kids, not their names. There were 8 kids in the middle of everything. There are twins named Maddie and Jon Gosselin, as well as sextuplets Colin, Hannah, Joel, Leah, Alexis, and Aiden. They were born into a lot of attention, but they didn't ask to be famous. So they slept with boom mics hanging over their heads, and production plans told them when to reach certain goals. A lot of people saw their first steps, their birthdays, and even times when they were crying or being punished. Even when there was a split, the cameras kept rolling. Kate said that filming would only happen when the kids wanted it to. However, critics and experts were worried about what it would be like for the kids to grow up on reality TV, especially in the middle of such a public scandal. It's still not clear what the kids remember, and it probably won't be for a long time. How much of their early lives were shaped by TV shows and fights between their parents? Do they know the difference between love and power? What version of the truth will they give when they're ready, if ever? Over the past few years, both Maddie and Cara have carefully written about parts of their lives. Maddie said in a 2023 TikTok comment that she and her brothers didn't have to accept someone just because they were a parent. This showed that things were tense between them. From what you've said, it sounds like the breakup might not just be about luck, but could be very emotional and last a long time. At least Jon is still hopeful when he's with other people. He has said many times that he wants to see all of his kids again, this time to explain his side, say sorry if needed, and start over. But since most of the kids are grown up now, it's not the court's decision anymore, it's theirs. Jon still spoke out while this was going on. In 2023, Jon finally breaks the silence. People were shocked when Jon Gosselin gave another emotional and honest interview in July 2023. Many people thought it was the last straw. After years of being quiet, he was tired.
That was almost 15 years after the first episode of Jon and Kate Plus 8. He wasn't going to hold back when he opened up. A lot of people didn't think Jon's return was an attempt to get attention. It was about being mad. He told the press the side of the story that had been kept secret for years because of court orders, PR spin, and general confusion. It had been said for more than a decade that he was the missing and unstable father. People who have been following the Gosselin story for a long time were shocked by what he said. It was very honest of Jon to say, "I haven't talked to Kate in years." This was probably the scariest thing he said. "There's no co-parenting," Jon said in the 2023 interview. They weren't just talking about not talking to each other when they said, "There's no relationship, we don't talk, we don't coordinate, nothing." The parents of 8 kids couldn't hear each other. Jon said that they had tried everything to fix their relationship, but nothing had worked. He also said that Kate had made it hard for him to connect with most of his kids. In public, Kate didn't say anything about these claims, but her silence only spread them. She had cut off all ties with Jon, both as a person and as a parent. The Gosselin kids are now young adults, but they are still stuck in a broken story. What did that mean for them? New information about Colin's time in an institution. Colin's time in an institution was one of the most upsetting things Jon brought up again in 2023. Many people did not know about this until after the fact. Jon thought that Colin's being hidden from the public wasn't for his own safety, but as a punishment. Each question was too much, she said. Jon told Kate. He stood up to her. She didn't want to deal with that, so she sent him away. Later, court records showed that Jon had worked hard to control Colin, and finally did so when Kate didn't show up to court. He said the process was hard on his mind, and that what he found when he got to Colin broke his heart. He was thin, scared, and suspicious, like someone who knew adults couldn't be trusted. This claim got a lot of attention, but it was hard to confirm because medical records were kept secret. If this is true, it sounds like a terrible way to abuse parental power. There was a father who didn't know where his son was for years. Even if some of the stories aren't true, that son now lives with him full-time, away from his mother and most of his brothers. Since then, Colin has said some vague and unsettling things on social media about how scary his time in the hospital was and how it might have hurt him emotionally in the long run. Kate has turned down all claims of abuse from lawyers, but she and Colin still talk to Jon, and they haven't made up in public yet. She reportedly begged Colin to forgive her, but he told her she was wrong. But she would never say that because it would make her look bad. It wasn't the only time she did something wrong with her kids. People say Kate misused money. In 2023, Jon caused another problem when she was said to have taken money from the kids' trust accounts. Court records from a 2019 meeting about custody show that Kate took more than $100,000 from 2 trust funds for her children. This cash was meant to stay safe until the kids turned 18. Kate said at the time that she did what she did because she needed the money to stay alive, and that she would pay back the loan. Jon said that as of 2023, he hadn't seen any proof of payment. In his mind, this was more proof that Kate had been fighting in court and living a fancy life with the money her kids gave her. It wasn't for a lawyer. That money was meant to help them in the future. This is not for a private chef, not for an agent, Jon told The Sun. People who agreed with Kate said it was hard for her to raise 8 kids by herself. Others wondered if the money she made from TLC and her speaking engagements really made her so desperate that she would steal from her kids' bank accounts. After becoming famous, Jon wasn't the party boy he was in the early 2010s. In 2023, he was quiet, thoughtful, and very on top of his family. He said he worked in IT and liked living a simple life with his daughter Hannah and son Colin in Pennsylvania. Fame wasn't as important to him as it used to be. He told her that all he wanted was to talk to her again. "I love all of my kids and want them to know it. Some people don't know what they've been through. We've all done it." As for the 6 kids who stayed with Kate, Jon said he respected their right to do what they thought was best, but he couldn't help but feel sad. He said, "I understand why they did it. I don't think they don't like me. They might have been lied to." The interview with Jon in 2023 was meant to end things, but it hurt people again in many ways. The story about the family that never really got better came out. Faith and miraculous births used to help a mother and father build a family. Now they will never be together again. Kids who grew up with cameras and lights can't talk to each other anymore. Fans wondered, was any of it worth it? Kate's defense in the media machine. After her divorce, Kate did a lot of different things, from being a guest on TV shows to hosting her own reality show Kate Plus 8, which ran on and off until 2017. After that, in 2019, she came back to TV with Kate Plus 8, a short-lived show where she tried to start dating again. She was shown to be cold and sure of herself, but she was always shown as a mother who worked hard and gave up everything for her kids. It was planned so that she would have the most control over her TV appearance. Every part was picked to make her look her best. But critics began to notice that some kids were missing. At first it was mostly Colin, but later it was Hannah as well. The answers weren't clear, and the tone was rude a lot of the time. Soon folks began to believe that what they were seeing wasn't even close to Kate Gosselin. The people who used to work on Jon and Kate Plus 8 have said, but haven't said their names, that Kate was in charge of both her home and the show. A lot of people said she cared a lot about how things looked and wanted to decide what was shown on TV. It's clear that Kate Gosselin knew how to use the edit's power, even though TLC hasn't said anything about the claims. It's important to remember that the media helped Kate stay popular with the public, at least for a while. After the breakup, many of the major news outlets made Jon look like he was the unstable one. They thought of him as the party boy dad who dated younger women, worked as a DJ, and had a lot of cases. Kate was thought to be strict but fair by many. She was the mom who stayed home to clean up. The story began to change as time went on and social media gave the Gosselin kids more chances to speak out. When Colin came out with his own voice and Jon's full support, everyone paid attention. His old Instagram posts that have since been deleted showed that he was really hurting emotionally. Even though he didn't say much, it was clear that he didn't feel safe or loved at his mom's house. It's been a while since Kate's media friends were around. Now there are think pieces that ask how far a parent should go for fame and whether Kate Gosselin went too far. Before tabloids would praise her parenting, a lot of people don't see Kate these days, but she's reportedly living a quiet life in North Carolina. It's said that the woman who used to run network shows and be on Dancing with the Stars doesn't talk to any of her kids and doesn't talk to Jon at all. The Daily Mail from 2023 says that Kate doesn't have serious conversations with Colin or Hannah. It looks like her 6 children still live with her or are very close, but no one knows how close they really are. Some people believe Kate chose to be by herself on purpose. Some people think she may be feeling guilty because she thinks her family lied to her and the media is biased against her. She also doesn't know how to get back together with her kids after years of fighting with them in court and not caring about them. She might not be talking because it's no longer a plan but a way for her to stay alive. Her time on reality TV is almost over, and her relationships with some of her kids are a mess. We now think less of Kate as the tough, no-nonsense mom. And if any of her 6 remaining children ever speak out whether they agree with her or not, it could ruin what little she has left of her protective legacy. Can a family ever heal if they get back together? Why do we ask? Will things ever get better for the Gosselin family? Keeps coming back to us over time. After a divorce, betrayal, and a lot of silence, the family is no longer together. It looks like it will be hard, if not impossible, to get back together. Jon Gosselin is still the most outspoken about wanting to get back together. He says over and over that he hopes to be able to fix his broken relationships with his kids one day. Still, it's not clear if Kate Gosselin agrees. But it's clear that the Gosselin kids who are now adults will have to go their own ways, which means they might never be able to get back together. The mental split in the Gosselin family isn't just due to being far apart, it's also caused by old wounds. Why did Colin and Hannah choose to live with Jon instead of their mother? It was clear that something very bad had happened behind closed doors. They spoke in ways that showed they were lost, hurt, and angry as they left. Most people don't know how long Colin spent in the treatment center, but you can tell by the way he acts. Colin briefly talked about his past and said, "I've been through things that I wouldn't wish on anyone." Many people agree with him that he and the other kids were twisted for reality TV. He said, "But the only way to move forward is to speak out and be true to myself." Kate's claims that everything was done for the kids' best were called into question by Colin's problems and what he said afterward. Hannah also chose to leave because she needed to feel better mentally. Even though she hasn't said anything bad about Kate out loud, the fact that she isn't with the family says a lot. In recent years, she's been more active on social media. When her family is happy, she posts pictures of herself with Jon and her brothers. Kate, on the other hand, is clearly missing from her personal posts. She said on Instagram, "I hope we can all get better one day. I just want peace and love in my life." It's still not clear if they will ever get better. 6 more kids, mostly Maddie and Cara, haven't been as open about how they feel about what's going on. Maddie has talked about how hard things are between her and Jon on social media from time to time, but she has never been mad at Kate. Instead, her posts on social media show how torn she is. She wants peace but doesn't want to get involved in the family fight. The story of the Gosselin family is still being written. The reality TV show that made them famous is over, but the issues it brought up about abuse, privacy, and family ties are still very much alive. At what point did the Gosselins' fame drop? Are things going to get better? Is it possible for the kids to ever forget that their parents did not get back together? We'll see in time. The Gosselin family will always be what they are because of the past. They still have the option to accept the past or start over. What do you think is going to happen next? Which person makes you feel the worst? Why or why not? Please write your thoughts in the box below. Thanks for looking.